that this, of course, is a very spiritually evolved group, and you realize that each of us already has all of the answers within, right? Well, it's matching them with the corresponding questions. That's the challenge. If you have an answerable question, I will have a questionable answer for you. Yeah.
What led you to this rather strange profession?
What led me to the strange profession? I have had many, well, I'll start at the beginning, this lifetime. I actually grew up in Oklahoma. Into a Methodist family. Well, actually, my father was Methodist, my mother was Catholic. So technically, I'm a rhythm Methodist. And I was different from the other children. I used to spontaneously go into all of these yoga poses. By the time I was in the Boy Scouts, I could tie myself with the 12 different knots. And my parents realized I needed spiritual guidance. They took me to the most evolved spiritual teacher in Oklahoma, the great Native American shaman, Broken Wind. Have you heard of him? Yeah, he used to teach gastral projection. You know, to err is human, but... And he was a very, very powerful and good-natured shaman, and I was a very impetuous child. And every time he would be meditating, I would sneak up on him from behind and do like a little Heimlich maneuver with it. He let me do this, but then one day, true to his name, he gastrally projected me across the room. And I learned a very powerful spiritual lesson. Don't squeeze the shaman. And then I traveled around. I had many, many odd jobs, and being odd made me suited for that work. I sold vacuum cleaners, but then I gave up all my attachments. So I was a census taker, but I had to leave. I hated that job because I had to ask people all of these very sensitive personal questions, like list all members of your family broken down by sex. Everything Uncle Charlie might be broken. No, he's broken down by drink. And so I finally achieved my, I studied with many, many gurus. The guru of the stock market, Baba Umamau. No, I'm sorry, he was the rock and roll guru. He taught the golden rule of rock and roll. Do up unto others as you would have them do up unto you. And so I have taken the circuitous path to doing what I'm doing. And you know, the real reason I'm here is because really the meaning of all of this is that we're here to laugh and we're here to love. And we forget about that. You know, we take life so seriously and we forget that we are here to regrow the garden and have a heaven of a time doing it. That's our job description. Okay, who else? I have several answers left, so yes. Yes.
Have you visited Washington, D.C. lately?
Have I visited Washington, D.C. lately? Well, you know, actually, I haven't been there in recent years, but I think that I've been working with this political uprising. I have a book called Swami for President, a 7-step plan to heal the body politic and cure electile dysfunction. We have many diseases of the body politic, deficit inattention disorder. We are still suffering from the lingering effects of mad cowboy disease. That's where the body politic is put into a state of catalepsy and herded into the bewilderness, yeah? But the thing is that this is part of the great uprising. Part of the uprising is recognizing that it's really now up to us, and that this is a political evolution that needs to take place. We had the revolution. You know, if Thomas Jefferson were alive today, you know what he'd say? First thing he'd say is, boy, do I feel old. But second, he would say that the government is supposed to be our servant. And instead, they are serving us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We need to fire the servants and hire ourselves. That is really what we have to do. Who else? Yes, way back.
Have you ever been in India, or have you ever been in India? Have you learned anything from them?
I've been to India. Oh yes, absolutely. I spent my junior year in high school in India. In fact, I attended Govinda High School, and I still remember the high school cheer, "Go Govinda, Govinda go, Govinda game Govinda." And then of course I learned all of my wordplay in India. I studied in the Punjab. I learned the language of wordplay called Punjabi. I still speak that sometimes. Okay, who else? Where are you? Oh yeah, thank you.
Do you have anything to say about genetic memory?
About what?
Genetic memory.
What do I have to say about genetic memory? Well, actually, I'm curious, how many people believe in reincarnation? Great to see you again. And again, and again, and again. Anybody not believe in reincarnation? Okay, well, you will in your next lifetime, don't worry. So I think that there is such a thing as genetic memory, and there's such a thing as collective memory. And sometimes we get these thoughts that fly into our head. We get the wisdom of the cosmos by cosmosis. And so that is what happens when you remember something that perhaps you never even knew that you didn't forget. Right? Okay. Who else? Yes.
Do you believe that thoughts turn into things?
Do I believe that thoughts turn into things? Everything that we have started with a thought. Somebody thought of a chair, and look, there's a chair. So all of the things in the physical world begin with a thought. Now people ask me, Swami, do we create our own reality? Well, we used to, but now it's made in China, mostly. Okay. Okay, who else? I have several answers left. Yes.
What keeps all of the celestial bodies in perfect order?
What keeps all of the celestial bodies in perfect order? Well, the celestial body work every now and then. Okay, like, I know that you were not satisfied with that answer, but I wasn't that crazy about the question. So I thought it was good. Okay, who else? Yes, way in the back.
What are some of your past lives?
What are some of my past lives? You know, it's very interesting that you asked that. You and I had a very, very significant past life at the time of the Buddha. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, she does. That's right. In fact, every time the Buddha would sit to meditate, you would interrupt with a question, and they named a city after you. Budapest. Could have been worse. Could have been Bangkok, you know. Okay, who else? No, that was channeled, by the way. Yeah, every time you come to any place related to Edgar Casey, it's always channeled. So, but I'm awake right now, I think. Okay, who else?
How do you raise kids to be happy?
How do you raise kids to be happy? Well, I think you have to let them know first and foremost that they are loved. And we call this giving them an esteem bath. So when they leave for school, they leave under a full head of esteem. And recognizing that happiness is an internal state. You see, we live in a society where we are made to be envious of other people because they may be happier than we are. And Sigmund Freud called this happiness envy. Somebody's happiness might be bigger than mine, huh? So the way to train kids to be happy is to have them bring that happiness with them wherever they go. Then they always have a supply. It's an inside job. Now you know that when we smile, even if we're not happy, when we smile, the body produces these hormones that are happiness hormones. The body thinks we're happy. So we're not happy because we smile. We don't smile because we're happy. We're happy because we smile. So I'm serious. We could do that. We could actually do that. Okay? And as for children, you know, I think that we are living in a culture that frankly in many ways is very toxic. There are bad influences. And somebody recently said, I am concerned that my young my preteen child is going to become sexually active too early. Would it be helpful to have sex education in the schools? I said yes. Because if schools teach sex the way they teach everything else, the kids will lose interest.